Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Happy Death Day. Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Happy Death Day. Wait, what? The Groundhog's Day premise strikes again. We've had it with the original film, we've had it in action, we've had it in teenage drama, and now we're getting it in the form of horror. And going into this film, I was hoping and expecting nothing less and nothing more than just a fun time. And consider expectations met, because this was a really fun time at the movies. So let's go ahead and start off with those positives. The biggest positive is that this movie knows what it is, it knows the goal it wants to accomplish, and it doesn't try to take itself serious. It doesn't try to be this super scary, super auteur type horror film. It wants to be fun, it wants to be campy, it wants to be kind of ridiculous, and it achieves that. And that's clear right from the get-go, because that baby face we see is the school mascot. And then you have this baby face creeping around in the background. Obviously that mask is pretty creepy, but also it still is zoom in on the little baby face as it looks. So it knows it's fun, it knows it's campy, and I really appreciated the film for just going for it. And the film is definitely at its best when it is in full-on, just fun, thriller-type film mode. And this film is funny. I think it has a lot of really fun and funny gags, funny moments. But on top of just being fun and funny, I think it also has a very nice mystery going on here. There is a bit of a twist to the Groundhog Day formula. She does keep reliving the same day over and over. But the twist is, she kind of feels the residual effects, and her body definitely is showing the signs of the way she's been dying. So she doesn't have infinite times to figure this out. It does kind of put a precedent of urgency in here, which is needed when you just kind of are repeating and repeating and repeating. So it was really fun to see that twist. And also the twist and the mystery of figuring out what's going on here, figuring out who is killing her, and that mystery was a good one. I think they really constructed it well, and the payoff is worth it. And all of that combines for a film that never left me boring, never left me disengaged. It's just over an hour and a half, which is the perfect length for this type of concept. So it's just a fun, good time. But that doesn't mean it gets excused from the negatives. So let's go ahead and talk about them, because I have several of those as well. And the biggest one is we never learn the cause. We never learn how this is happening. We learn the mission when we learn what her goal is to try and stop it from happening. We never learn the magic or the supernatural entities or anything, just sheer luck or a curse or any way in which she is able to relive and relive and relive. And that was kind of disappointing to me, is that we never got it. We never got the catalyst. And I was waiting for it. I wanted to know what that catalyst was. And it was kind of unfortunate that they didn't come up with one. So while the mystery itself worked out well in the end, I thought, unfortunately, it wasn't complete because we didn't know what that catalyst was. I also think the first third of this film is the roughest. I think that's when it's really setting things up, so it takes itself a little bit more seriously, and it really kind of is setting up our characters and such. But it feels more serious in tone in that first act, and then we really kick it into high gear in those second two acts when it lets loose. But this is a problem with both of the Groundhog Day films that we received this year, is they start off with a character that is just so unlikable, but as our main protagonist, that it's hard to relate to this person, it's harder to engage with this person. She has so much baggage, and all of this is so deep-rooted that there's no way we're going to unpack all of this in the midst of a fun, crazy horror film. So you're never fully engaged in her as a character because she starts off as such a horrible person that you're like, yeah, I can see why people want to kill you, to be honest. You're horrible. And it's just so hard to like really root for a main character when they're just that unlikable as a person. And this main character actually doesn't see all of that much development. The end of the film, she's definitely at a different place than she was at the beginning of the film, but the movie didn't do enough groundwork to really warrant it. It didn't really show us her changing from A to Z and growing as a person. She kind of just arrives there. So we don't get the progression of her learning and her just realizing, hey, I'm kind of a horrible person. It just kind of like dawns on her in one of the cycles. Plus, there are definitely inconsistencies in part of this whole thread. There are definitely those plot holes that you're like, wait a minute, but this doesn't make sense. I'm not going to go into those. I don't think that they're deal breakers. They're not going to ruin your time. And they only really strike when you're like thinking back on the film. But there's inconsistencies, there's plot holes, there's a gaping open inconsistency near the end of the film. So I'll let you figure those out for yourself. I'll let you determine all of that. We don't do spoilers here. But in the end, while I did have some problems, and I do think it was a little bit lazy in some of the filmmaking, it's still a really fun movie. It's not one to be overanalyzed. It's not one to take super serious and to really dig into. But I don't necessarily think it was aiming for that. I don't really necessarily think it wants to be that. And I don't really necessarily think every single film has to be that. So for what it is, it executes the film that it was setting out to do well enough that you'll leave having had a good time. So I say for this Friday the 13th, go ahead and give Happy Death Day a full price ticket. It's not very scary for your Friday the 13th, but it's a fun kind of comedy horror that will entertain well enough. But for actual quality of film purposes, I'd say this is a matinee. But who wants to see a comedy horror during the day? Come on. So that has been my review of Happy Death Day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Happy Death Day? And what is your favorite film that has utilized the Groundhog's Day formula? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!